Well, the situations occurred for people who are in rented accommodation, government rented accommodation on the Isle of Man. And Eddie Power, who's always good to get in touch with us about things, and of course has that website still. Eddie, you're still working as MHKs, they work for you, isn't it?
Yes, that's one of them.
One of them, yes. But you do keep an eye on things. You've
Yes.
got interest in these things. It's quite a situation. Some money hasn't been accepted on people's rent. Over to you.
Well, it's not so much you hadn't been accepted. What happened was somebody got in touch with me. I'm a tenant with social care, social housing, or whatever it's called as well. But I pay mine through the bank, so it doesn't affect me. But this person got in touch with me and said, I pay cash for my rent. And how am I supposed to pay it? I said, well, what do you mean? They said, well, there is no week 41. And I got out my rent book and had a look, and there's no week 41. So you can't, you see, when you go to the post office, you go in, you pay your money, they write it down on that week and they stamp it. Well, if there's no week 41, they can't put it in there. And what tends to happen is they put it on the next one, which you could say, yeah, okay, the rent is paid. But if you have a problem, which I did years ago, you get your details from the department, and then you go through your rent book to see whether it matches up. Well, if you're a week missing, it's not going to match up. You're going to think, well, hang on, and you're talking £100 odd. And the other thing is, these people are. I don't mean to be rude. I'm not being rude to them at all. But they're people that pay cash. They don't pay in through the bank. They pay cash. This is your pensioners, people on benefits, and that sort of thing. And these are the people that sort of it will affect.
Is it a printing error, or is something else gone wrong here?
The department says a printing error. I don't know. I tried to ask. I passed it on to Jason Morehouse, who asked a question about it and got the usual bland answer about what a rent book is and how it works and that sort of thing. And Jason and I sort of pursued it between us. I think the department print their own. It's an 8-page booklet. It contains all the information you need as a tenant. Things like emergency phone numbers and all that. It's not just the rent. And basically, I think it's a proofreading thing. Somebody didn't proofread it to see. But what I can't understand, you use the same thing every year. Yes, I suppose the weekdays dates are missing. But look at all the others. It hasn't happened in previous years. And it's just unfortunate it's taken this long before somebody actually noticed it.
Now, didn't the government bring out some press release about this, but late on a Friday night or something? Or is that right?
Well, I'm not Well, Jason got in touch with me last night and he said, we're getting a press release. I said, oh, yes. Yes, he said, I said to them, he'll probably get him in trouble for this. He said, he pursued it. And in the end, they said, yes, we're sorry. Well, they didn't say you're sorry. They said there has been a mistake. We will issue a press release. So everybody waited for the usual sources, as you know, for the press release, and nothing appeared. And Jason said to them, look, I need something done by the end of the working day today, or I will go back and ask a question in the House next Tuesday, an urgent question. This thing appears. It appears on Housing's webpage, which, to be honest, how many people even know where it is, leave alone look at it, in the middle of a section which says affordable housing and everything else. They do apologise. They say it won't happen again. But it really was, to my mind, it's sort of, let's get it out 5 o'clock on a Friday. Nobody will see it there. We're admitting it, but we don't want everybody to know we're admitting it.
So, implication-wise now, when you get to the end of this book, you'll need one extra stamp somewhere, will you? Basically, to correct it all off. How are they going to manage that? Or do you know yet?
Well, they're saying that is in hand. They will they talk to the post office. I gather there was trouble in Castletown post office and Laxey post office when people went in. It caused a lot of confusion. And a lot of these are tenants that don't need confusion or that sort of thing. And as I say, and that sort of your pension, your average pension. Well, I'm a pensioner, but a lot of pensioners don't go on the government website. They certainly don't go on the housing website to have a look. And if I can bring up just one other thing on this, what amazed me, Jason and I put it on Facebook, and it went berserk on a couple of pages. And the amount of people that said they don't have a rent book, we pay, I pay direct or I pay through the bank. I don't have a rent book. you should have a rent book. Everybody should have a rent book. I looked it up. It is part of it. When you rent privately a property, you should have a rent book. This is not just a list of your rent. This also has, as I say, emergency contact. But if you have a problem with your housing, your water, there's a telephone number there to ring up. I cannot believe that they don't issue it to everybody.
Well, it does sound like it needs looking at further. Is Jason Morehouse on this for you?
Oh, yes. Jason is on. Jason was like a dog with two tails last night.
And you're always there for advice, I know, as well. And you, as I say, you run these websites and you keep a check on all the MHKs. Is it quite an exciting time now? You seeing a bit of electioneering starting already? I think we've all seen, haven't we?
I've seen one. There's one in the middle, isn't there? I've seen the middle one.
Yes.
And Sarah Maltby, and there's some of the, of course, a lot of them.
Are you going to stand yourself, Eddie?
No, I'm not. You keep asking me that every year. Actually thinking, no, they're worse.
Well, give your website a good plug here because it's worth having a look at.
Yeah, well, you going to have another go?
I don't think so. I think my place is here, don't you? I think. But MHKsTheyWorkForYou.com, is it, the website?
MHKsTheyWorkForYou.com or MHKsTheyWorkForYou Facebook page. And if I can add, which you forgot before, there is also the Crown Dependencies political news one, which covers the Crown Dependencies, which has been handy because I've been able to mix what's been happening in Guernsey with their COVID, which I feel so sorry for them because they really were being successful. They were doing really well. And then, as it proves, it just takes a couple of people to step out of line and you've got trouble. And they really have. They've gone up to over 100 cases, but they've shut down like we did. You compare that and ours, and I know our two, Jersey and Guernsey, Guernsey and the Isle of Man are talking. But Jersey is going totally differently. It's almost as though economy is coming first.
It is quite interesting. Although Guernsey's actually now got more live cases than Jersey, which is almost incredible to think about. But
the thing that concerned me, because as you know, you and I have got a joint friend, or it's for ITV down there, Gary Burgess, who literally said to the Chief Minister in Jersey, "We want, surely you can do what the Isle of Man did and what Guernsey did, and you have a complete lockdown. It's not a competition. We don't want to do it that way. Their borders are still open, and you compare even the UK's borders are closed now, but the borders are still open. And they've had over 66 people die, which is even worse. That's the thing with it.
When this is all over, it's going to be very interesting to pick through all the different ways that different jurisdictions have dealt with it, isn't it?
It is. It really is, because you go wider afield, as I say, with the overseas territories, Cayman and places like that really stamped on it, and it has worked. My only thing with that, which amuses me, how do these celebrities manage to go to these places on holiday?
Yes, you're talking about the Dubai people, the influencers. It was crazy, wasn't it?
I saw one the other day. Somebody was down in the British Virgin Islands.
Oh, right.
And I think, well, how do you do that? The rest of us can't even get there. And it's people take risks. I've got, just on the COVID thing totally, I've got a cousin who's in Dubai, in the UAE. Now, they had a wonderful record. They opened up for holidays, and it is gone berserk. And the cases and everything else. And he said, you wouldn't believe it. He said it is so. My mother's got it. My daughter's got it in England. It is so prevalent. You literally, you walk down the street, you're going to catch it. And this is why I praise them for what they've done here. And I do feel sorry for Guernsey, but I think Guernsey will come right because they have shut down like they have.